Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to the Tuesday post NXT show thing. God, I screwed it up again. I did it really good for 1 week, but every week before it was terrible, and this week also I choked. I choked.
Hey everyone, what's up, Fightful fam? This is your NXT broadcast for June 14th. We're so excited to have you with us on our NXT post show. Our host, Alex Pawlowski, myself, Kate. Send in your super chats, send in your humper chats, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video. Also, head on over to Fightful Select, would you, and support us there. Constant breaking news, the most breaking wrestling news in the industry, like, not to brag, but kind of by far. So, just subscribe there if you want to be cool. There you go.
Bailing me out like always, Kate Elizabeth.
What's up, buddy?
I've had a weekend.
Alex, you had a weekend, brother.
I did. And it continues because we finally brought down every last stitch of everything that was left in our old house to our new house.
Because you sold it.
Which is awesome, which is good news. But most of it is just Christmas decorations and crap. Like old papers, like sentimental things, but they're in cardboard boxes in our garage. Which the one thing I don't love about the house that we bought is that the garage is entirely uninsulated. Like it's just a plywood shack that you can park a car in if you'd like to, and so there's no protection from the elements. So walking out to the second fridge to grab a beverage just now. It's 1,000 degrees in there. So I'm like, I hope none of our precious papers spontaneously combust.
Oh no!
It's been a week, but it'll be fine. Well, it'll all be good. It'll all be good. Kate, tonight's episode of NXT pre-taped. Next week also pre-taped. The spoilers are out there. If you're like
I got
me,
a spoiler for you.
Yeah.
One of the guys that was promoted on the show was fired.
This isn't that just like it is? Gets promoted and immediately they're like, hit the bricks, pal. You're now we have to cut you because you got promoted, so your new salary a little too high. Sorry, kid, budget cuts. I mean, that's actually apparently not the reason that he
there was it sounded like a policy violation, but not necessarily that serious of one.
Yeah, which is good. They were like, maybe we'll bring you back next year. And I'm like, well, I do hope they think far enough ahead so that next week he's on the show again, but the following week he won't be. And I hope they think far enough ahead to have Tony D saying I sent 2 dimes on a special mission over to Sicily to go and retrieve that thing I sent him over there for. And then we won't hear about him again until he shows up. Hey, 2 dimes, you're back. How was the old country? It was old. And then that's it. That's all. That'll be fun. Thank you. Look at that. Look, you see that nice? Paper burns at 480 degrees. They should be fine in your garage. I wouldn't bet on it. That's how hot it is in my garage. But I
also see people saying I'm super blurry, and I look clear on the stream, and this only happens in the Fightful StreamYard, so I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what's going on, people. I don't know what's going on. I see it. I see it.
I don't know what's going on in NXT, my friend.
Yeah, they're trying some stuff. Bless them. They're trying some stuff, and we'll see how well that goes over in the next few months. This whole we're going to return to touring, but just in Florida. Don't tell anybody. It's good that they're doing the Largo loop again. That's really good for because that's a thing that the NXT newbies used to get that they haven't gotten since COVID, and it really helped a lot of people figure out how to perform in front of an audience, how to work. Sometimes hey, it's a house show, so it's nothing happens here is canon. Why don't you, a normal babyface tag team, go and work heel and see how that works for you? Because this is basically a wrestling school. It's a really fancy wrestling school that they put on television. So it's good for people to learn how to do some of that stuff. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where some of this goes. And knowing what's happening next week, also not intrigued to see where some of this goes. But the spoilers are out there for next week if you so choose. We won't be getting into that now, but rest assured, there's stuff that happens next week that I am still seething about after having read it like days ago. So there we go.
Not great.
Jake Salazar asks, how is this heat treating
Oh
Linda
my God,
and
the
Sheila?
heat. You know, I was in the attic. Similarly, a lot of Christmas decorations.
Oh,
We are both marks for the Christmas.
Oh, I love the Christmas.
For the holidays, for the Christmas.
I have a minimum of 4 trees all throughout my house. And so I need all the decorations to go on the trees, all the lights to go on the trees, the tree toppers. I have everything. So they're all nice and fake. They're nice and sparkly. I love a nice fake tree.
Do you have the green tree? Or do you have the white trees and the pink trees and the blue trees?
No pink and blue. What do you think I am? They're all white trees. They're all sparkly white trees. Silver, white kind of. We used to do a green, but it affected my allergies. It wasn't an actual tree, but because it looked like an actual tree, I got terrible allergies. So we had to get rid of the green tree. I've missed being here. We never do this.
It's been a minute.
We never do this anymore.
It's been a minute.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and read this JDB and Pringle super chat as Linda, if you don't mind. Good evening, SGS's Council of Marks, Grand Poobah, Paul Elizabeth, you man among men, you. NXT 2.0 awful wasn't great, but while sick, I binged Stranger Things new season. We could talk about that if you want. Oh, no, it's too scary. Also, I can't relate to all these young people. I can't relate to the young people, so I watch them. Couldn't you have, I don't know, a few old people get sucked into another dimension? That I would relate to.
Oh my God, what dimension is the most horrifying for you? Like, what would be your hellscape?
The DMV.
The DMV. Do not get me
It feels like another
started
dimension sometimes when you have to go to the DMV.
The D stands for dimension, moving.
Jake Salazar is all about. He says, "Yes, Pringle, let's discuss things of stranger."
Oh, the things of stranger. What are my bangs doing today, guys? They're my hallmark. They're driving me crazy. I can't do this, or I look like I'm in Fall Out Boy. Am I more than you bargained for, Alex? I've been dying to tell you everything about NXT. It was not very good this week.
Ryan Sullivan says, "Spoil us, Alex. Spoil us. You don't actually have to. I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell you what happens next week on the show. I may drop hints, but I will never actually say it. So, we got Paul Elizabeth chiming in. Sir Pringle, welcome back. Good to see you back with the SGS universe. It is nice. It is nice.
Look at my dad trying the inside WWE jargon lingo.
The Battered One Jam Beard says, "What in the blue hell has Raw done to my boy Tommy Champs? He apparently is doing the Miz's dirty work, but they've never actually told us why or how or what all that is, what that's going on. He's just, I don't know.
I just can't think of anything more opposite than the Miz and Tommy Chops. Come on, you can't sell me on that pairing.
I guess that the whole point is that that the Miz is rich because of his reality show, and he could pay off somebody to
oh, come on,
beat up the people.
I know that E Network ain't paying that well.
No, it's on the USA Network.
Oh, it's on the USA Network.
It's on the USA Network. It's a big time deal. They kept saying it on the Raw. They were saying it's the highest rated premiere episode of anything in the history of ever. That's what they said it. And if they say it on Raw, you know it has to be true. That's why when they said that Cody Rhodes was going to be gone for 9 months, I was like, that's gospel. That's gospel to me because they said it on Raw. We got
wasn't so I didn't watch Raw this week because I love myself, but what wasn't Maurice just talking about the Mrs. Balls last week?
Yeah, no, he did it again today. There was no, it was Maurice was talking about Mrs. Balls. It's like, my husband does not have tiny balls; he has average balls. And then she's like, Maurice is like, I mean, above average balls? No, bigger. He has big balls, the biggest balls, gargantuan balls my husband has.
Like it's a medical problem?
Yeah, apparently. It's
But like, I don't want Tommaso Ciampa near any of that. That's terrible.
No, it's terrible. He's actually not involved in the ball talk, but that's mostly Matt Riddle's thing. Jaber Pringle says, Linder reading my chat brought back recessed memories of my Meemaw and great aunts Jeannie and Anna talking in broken Italian at the kitchen table, smoking and drinking coffee with a little something in it. You gotta put a little something in the coffee, otherwise it's just brown water.
This one always loves to put the tequila, sometimes the Baileys.
Oh, it's not a coffee without the Baileys. It's just not. We started out with the walking loaves.
The show we review.
Yeah, the walking loaves of white bread versus Ederson Ofe and Malik Blade.
We sure did.
These lumbering sacks of flour. Now they're great, but I will say, Brutus Creed. Now I don't love the orange look among the top stars, the whole tanning bed thing, but Brutus Creed is a very specific shade of milky pink, and he could do with a little color. Like, he is the palest. It's like he looks like a lumbering sack of flour out there with like a dash of food color.
Than like Sheamus, though.
No, the whole thing is like, no, Sheamus is white. I mean, if you look at Brutus Creed,
he kind of looks like a baby.
He's pink. He looks like a gigantic baby, is what he looks like. Like covered in talcum powder, it's not great. It's
you can't put things like that into the universe because that'll be his gimmick next week.
No, you never know. So Ederson Ofe continues to impress. Malik Blade, meh. And the Creeds win. They win, handily, I suppose. They Brutus is able to hit the unnecessary clothesline after a slam from Julius Creed, and they pin Malik Blade, and they win the match, and they have a handshake afterwards. They are honorable champions, which means they're going to be champions for about 2 more weeks.
5 minutes.
And that's it. They're going to lose those belts at.
They're going to break up Diamond Mine. I'm going to jump off.
Listen to me, Kate. I hate doing this. There are 2 possibilities I see for them losing these belts at
the Druids.
The Druids. That's certainly a possibility. The Druids at a Great American Bash, or losing them to Roddy Strong and Damon Kemp. Like infighting in there, like, because I see it as a possibility. Let's break them up, and not only break them up, let's have them fight each other for the titles, and then have Roddy Strong cheat, proving that cheaters do prosper.
I'm doing everything I can to not just pull myself off the stream right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to call out a few things because I quite liked this match. Ederson Ofe's an Ofe or an Ofe? He's got the accent mark over the E, which makes you think it's an Ofe.
But they always say Ederson
Vic
Ofe.
Joseph changed it tonight. Guys, pick a name. Pick a pronunciation, man.
Yeah.
You're killing me. I want to get it right, so I need them to get it right because, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of disrespectful not to. Anyway, he had a great Northern Light suplex in this match.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that we've seen the Creeds grow with tremendously is their in-ring IQ. They've gotten so much smarter in the ring. Little things like when you have someone in a submission, dragging them back to your corner Stuff like that is so good. And today, I don't know why I decided that Brutus needs to use a crossface because I don't know. I feel like he's a bigger dude, but he's not John Cena big where it looks like it's not locked in and you can just slide out your arms. Like he really gets those holds in really snug. And I think a crossface would just be like super nasty for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I liked the way this match was structured. I feel like they did a good job of getting to Julius being the hot tag really organically and not in the way like we're seeing Riddle and Orton do it where it's lather, rinse, repeat all the time. Like this felt like a very natural progression where it wasn't like, and here comes the hot tag. It just happened to be that Julius finally got in the ring. So I really liked this opener. I really liked how it was structured. I knew the episode was going to be downhill from here though. Sad.
Yeah. Later we saw a backstage segment. Well, during the match, by the way, we saw Ivy Nile, who is now using her powers for good instead of evil. She's just the most like okay, so we made Ivy Nile into this unstoppable pit bull. Like she will rip your head off for looking at her the wrong way. But we want to turn her baby face. So let's make her into the sweetest girl you've ever met. I'm like, there's gotta be a middle ground here. You know, like it's just a weird thing.
They learned nothing from Becky Lynch. I swear to God. I swear to God, you could be a cool badass baby face. It's possible.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. We got her watching backstage, trying to like, hey, Roddy, look what they're doing. And Roddy's like, shut up, you're a girl. Like he doesn't actually say it, but it was a really dismissive way to like, I am clear.
Shut up, you're a girl.
I mean,
how dare you?
It was a very dismissive way of him. He's talking to Damon Kemp, obviously not paying attention to the match. And then Ivy's like, hey, look at this. And he turns around like, shut up. And he goes back talking to this. It's a very weird way that they showed that scene. Anyway, it felt very dismissive. But then later...
Well, he probably just missed her because he knew she was watching TV the wrong way. You're supposed to watch like this.
That's true. So we got... we got them backstage, and the Creed show up and says, what was that? What was the handshake? Why are you doing a handshake? It's because
honor is real, bitches.
Apparently Roddy has forgotten all about that. But they said we went and we talked to management. Who's that? Who's management in NXT? I'd like to know. But
it's
we got you.
Regal.
We got you and Damon a match with Edris and with who? Not the same people next week, is it? Who do they have a match with next week?
That would be very them, but I don't think it was them.
I don't know who it was. We got you a match next week.
Zion and somebody?
I don't know who it was. Honestly, I don't know who it was. They have a match next week. And Roddy's like, I can't. My ankle. It's only 63%. And I love that he picked out that number, which is great. But Ivy's like, well, didn't you just say no excuses? Oh, yes, of course I did. It's my fault. And they runs away. Damon, come. And Damon leaves with him. It was just the most ridiculous thing. What has happened to our diamond mine, Kate? What in the name of Malcolm Bivens have they wrought upon us?
Yeah, no, they released the guy that made it feel special and they screwed up the booking that made it feel real.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I'm so glad that the Creeds have the titles, but it feels like they did not strike while the iron was hot. So they kind of missed the boat. And now it feels like they're in the mud with this tension, not tension thing. Like it was, if you win, cool. If you don't, you're kicked out of Diamond Mine.
Yeah.
But now there's still tension. So like, I don't know.
And then because that whole scene actually started with Tatum Paxley on the phone with somebody. Tater Paxley. And
Potato Paxley.
Potato Paxley. Everyone knows that Tatum is short for potato. And it's actually TATE apostrophe with 3 M's. Gotta look.
sincerity with which he said, everyone knows that Tatum is short for potato.
It's actually pronounced Tatum.
Dem potatoes.
Potato Paxley is on the phone with somebody, and then Ivy Nile walks up and says, "Hey, like I know, I lost. I should be ashamed of myself. No, you're getting better out there. I can see the work you're putting in. Good for you." And then Roddy walks up. Why are you even talking to her? She's a loser. Like Roddy was the biggest mean girl bitch ever.
He's learning the NXT way, which is that everybody is a bitch and you are constantly in everyone's business being weird to me.
Yeah. It's nice. We got all that. So there is your saga in the story of the Creeds and Diamond Mine. Okay. So Luis says that there's no opponents announced yet. So
a mystery tag team. I'm sure it'll be a competitive match.
Yeah. So somebody was in the chat saying, here's an easy story to tell with Ivy. When she actually changed was when she went to NXT UK and lost to Meiko Satomura. And she realized she wasn't all that yet. And it humbled her. And she wants to figure out to like train Tatum as well as training herself, you know?
Let her go kick people's butts.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. The Batter to One Jam Beard says, who is more pale, Alex? Paige or Sheamus or the Creed brother? That's Brutus Creed. Very important. Julius does not have the same shade of skin as his brother. And the answer is
at the top of the show, you were referring to them as lumbering sacks of flour, and you were like, no.
Yes.
We distinguish.
Yes, very very different. Now, when I originally gave them that nickname, it was entirely because of Brutus. Like, let's be honest, he has a very lumbering quality, also a sack of flour quality. But the answer of course is Sheamus. But I honestly don't know if he like uses lightning cream when he's not on screen to achieve that particular hue. Paige looks paler because of the dark skin and eye makeup that brings out the pale nature of her. But if you just want about like talking about pasty, like a nice pink hue, it's gotta be Brutus Creed. It's got to be Brutus Creed. Aaron H. brings up a good point. Says, I've never understood why having the balls equals tough. I'm a man myself, and if my balls get even poked, I'm in terrible pain. It feels misogynistic. Yes, I felt it necessary to pay $5 to say that. Well, thank you, Aaron H. Very important. Thank you. Here's the thing I think that I might have to spend the most time talking about, Kate. JBL Pring says lightning cream, ka-chow, not lightning McQueen cream, not that kind of lightning cream. Apollo Crews is sitting in a diner, Kate.
Oh no!
He's sitting in a diner alone at a booth, and he reaches over next to him, pulls over a journal, a leather-bound journal. Takes out a pen and starts writing in the journal, talking about how time waits for no man. So he's using cliches in his journal, of course.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. And he seems to, he's talking about how I've did a lot in my WWE career, but I always felt like these three letters have been haunting me. NXT. And he writes in all capitals N-X-T. Exclamation point. And he's just writing about how he wants to be in NXT. He's very happy to be there. Like, it's this thing. I was like, so he's contemplative? Like, that's his new thing, is like he sits alone in a diner wearing a leather jacket in the heat of a Florida summer and indoors and drinks a coffee alone. And that's it. So
what's wrong with that?
I mean, it's
I'm in New Jersey. That is our culture. Okay.
It's fine. I don't think he was in New Jersey. Is the thing. He hears out of the corner of his ear, if that's a thing. A guy across of him berating some waitress. Where's my food? You should be serving me. Why aren't you serving me? You should be in the back getting my food as we speak. And then he gets up and starts walking to it. And they actually play the looped clip of that bad actor saying the same lines. Where is my food? You should be getting my food. Why aren't you in the back getting my food as we speak? Where's my food? You should be getting my food. Why aren't you? Like, I don't know why they felt like they could have given him 3 more lines.
No, that's it.
But he walks over and he says, "You have a problem here?" And the guy says, "Get out of my face." And then Apollo Crews reaches over, grabs the guy by it's the big dude, grabs the guy by back of the head and slams his forehead down on the booth table, instantly knocking him unconscious. And he looks over at the waitress and nods. And then we see it was actually all in his head. Like he was just visualizing himself doing that. And then I'm like, oh, so this is what I thought at that moment. I only had a split second to think this, Kate, but I was like, oh, so he's pensive and contemplative, but there's a vicious streak within him that he's trying to keep down. That's interesting. I don't know whether we can actually tell that story, like if they're equipped to do it, but it's an interesting story of a guy who has this really vicious and brutal streak inside him, but he's trying to keep it down by being more of a pensive guy. But I was wrong, Kate, because immediately when he comes out of that, like this is what it would be like to do that, he actually gets up and goes and does it. Like, I don't understand why he visualized himself walking over saying, "We have a problem here," and the guy saying, "Get out of my face," and then him smashing the dude's face into the thing. He visualized it, and then he got up and did it.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you go to Chase University, you can take a course called Apollo Crews Manifestation, and it's all about the power of visualization and how you can use it to overreact to people in diners.
So they give it. They decided. He got to NXT and was like, "Hey guys, I'm not doing the Nigerian Prince gimmick, am I anymore? No, not anymore. Oh, good, because I'm so glad to be rid of that stupid gimmick. What's my gimmick now? Here, you ready for it? Waffle House Vigilante. Huh?
Hey!
You go to Waffle Houses and you beat up guys. First, you think about doing it, and then you actually do it. Huh?
He would be so unhelpful in like a very urgent emergency situation because he would just like hit the pause button and then react. Like if you're on a subway and someone passes out and you like have to hit like the emergency button and the brake, like that guy's dead because he's just like writing in his journal about it.
I mean, I thought what we were going to do is we were going to have him visualize kicking the guy's ass, but think better of it. And walk over there and say to the guy, "We have a problem." And the guy says, "Get out of my face." And it's like, "Sir, do we have a problem? Because I think she's going to go get your food. Do we have a problem?"
And if you didn't notice, I'm jacked to the gills, man.
Right. And if he instead of resorting to violence, he had used a gentle threat instead, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I see people saying he's the equalizer. The Denzel Washington movie is the thing. They were already doing that with whatever his name was. What was that guy's name? Draco Anthony?
Yes.
He had a couple of vignettes where he was sitting alone in a diner, but it was dark and there was nobody else in the diner. And he was just sitting alone in the diner. And it was like, is he the equalizer? And they were like, "Draco Anthony, you're no longer the equalizer. We're saving that gimmick for somebody way more important." I listen. I'm willing to let it figure out what the hell it is, but right now it's literally funny. Of like, what would happen if I went over there and kicked that guy's ass? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do it for real. It's just a weird thing to do.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
funny.
it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to break this to you guys, but most people that are credible in wrestling media actually really like each other. And one of the people that I really like is Cass at Body Slam, and he's an actual Waffle House vigilante. So go tweet at Cass Hole about it because it's a real funny story. I don't have time to tell it here, but he's an actual Waffle House vigilante. I think that's probably where they drew the inspiration from, was that story. But I actually really like your initial idea of him like having a mean streak but trying to keep it down, because I also think that would fit for Apollo Crews, because he's like such a happy, outgoing guy, but he's like very hard hitting and really, really, really strong. Like that could be something really substantive to dig into. So hopefully they go in that direction and not delayed reaction hero at diners.
Yeah. Yes. J.B. Pringle says, Dalton from Roadhouse will be played. That's with the case as Apollo is basically Denzel from The Equalizer, and I'm here for it. Ken Shiro says, genuinely watch this show while high. I thought I hallucinated the cruise segment or was having some sort of bad trip. No, that was the writers before they wrote it.
What are those guys on? I'll take some.
And the Battle of One Jam Beard. Listen, they don't need you trying to explain away their bad creative. The Battle of One Jam Beard says, about Apollo's accent. He did cut a promo before about how the Nigerian thing was the accent of his homeland, and he was adapting it to honor his father instead of losing his normal American voice. That is why he changed it to the Nigerian thing. That's a fine enough reason for that. Whether or not you accept it, is your own personal proclivities. But
also,
changing from it back to the other thing without ever mentioning that I was ever doing that thing before is a very much like a Triple H to Kofi Kingston. Didn't you used to be Jamaican? And then just moving on. It's not even that.
At least there they called it out.
Yeah.
But I'll also say this. The superhero gimmick started as a Nikki Cross idea, and her initial promo about it was extremely heartfelt and great and wonderful and warm and rooted in something. And then they ruined it. So just because the roots of something are organic to the performer doesn't mean WWE has the best track record of making those things translate.
True. Francisco Marcus, Roadhouse. You got to say it like that. So then Jake Salazar says, that's actually my nickname, about Lightning McQueen or Lightning Cream. Because if your nickname is Lightning Cream, maybe, I'm just saying, perhaps if your nickname is Lightning Cream, you might need some assistance in a certain area.
Your penis is soft. Let me help. Not like that. BlueChew.com. Code Fightful. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it's ready when you are, or when you're not. It's not about having a problem. It's about having that performance, that excellent performance, that confidence. Fill out their online questionnaire. You work with an online physician. You won't have to wait in line at the pharmacy or the doctor's office. It's shipped discreetly and directly to you, and you get that first shipment free when you use that code FIGHTFUL at checkout. You want to be confident, don't you? You want that pay-per-view, that main event performance. Don't let yourself or somebody else down. Use BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
Maybe a little bit, not so lightning fast to that cream when you use Blue Chew.
Jake Salazar confirming it is. His nickname is Lightning Cream. That's good. Also, he sent in one before. He says, watch Miz come out with stuffed trunks next week for his big balls segment.
I mean, if it's that bad, he should be at a doctor.
Right. That's
like,
the thing.
that's not great.
Yeah. If you have elephantiasis of the balls, I don't think even Blue Chew is going to help you. But thanks. So we got Tiffany Stratton versus Horse Girl. We got Daddy
I'm
Girl.
a horse girl.
Bow, bow.
I can't even do it.
Well, I'm a horse girl. Bow, bow. We got Daddy's Girl, Tiffany Stratton versus Horse Girl. So as Tiffany Stratton's coming out for her match with Fallon Henley with Horse Girl, you see in the back Wendy Chu on a hippity hop, just bouncing across the back. I'm like, she's fantastic. She really is. She commits entirely. So she's so good at this. The fact that she was like bouncing and looking down the ramp as she was doing it was so great. Tiffany Stratton, though, here's the deal. Here's the thing that we have to do. Tiffany Stratton is actually gaining some serious momentum across like objective parts of wrestling social media. Not like the E-drones who've been like since the beginning, she's the greatest in the history of wrestling. But people who actually have some actual objectivity to them, watching and going like, she's really improved. I can't believe how good she's gotten in the last few months. If she continues to improve like this over the next few years, who knows what her ceiling might be? You're getting people saying that in all corners of wrestling media. So let's halt all of that momentum by having her lose to the worst small package you've ever seen, because of a distraction by Wendy Chu, who comes out on her hippity hop and throws confetti into Tiffany Stratton's face. Like Tiffany Stratton, like you're starting to build something with this. You know what you could do is help that momentum continue. But their idea is no, let's halt it for a while. And I'm just like, it's okay, fine. I think she'll eventually come out on top of this Wendy Chu feud. I think. But who knows how they book their stuff down there. But like, yeah, it's unfortunate. Now
if you need help booking your stuff down there, go to bluechew.com and use the code Fightful.
Yeah. That's true.
Look, you don't know the segues that lay ahead, only the ones that you have to capitalize.
That's true.
First of all, I find it very upsetting that Fallon Henley, like every single move isn't named after something horse related. Is very upsetting to me. Like it could just be, and it could be a roll up, but it should be called the like skedaddle or something, or like I don't know, the brush the mane. I don't know. Like she needs horse jargon at every turn.
Yep. And
probably some legal jargon in there with her horse lawyer.
Yeah.
I cannot believe, like, look.
She should do. Here's a free one to anybody down there in NXT who's watching, because I know you all are. She should do a Luthez press, but to her opponent's back, and like land on their back, straddling them, and then smash their face into the thing instead of like punching on them. And they should call that the saddle up, because she was like riding them like a horse.
There it is.
There it is. Saddle up. Oh, saddle up. Can't you just hear Vic Joseph going, oh, saddle up? And then Wade Barrett going, oh no, that's not good at all.
But we also need some lawyer words in there too. Like the mistrial or something. Like, it's contract law though, so I guess it's kind of boring. But we have to figure out how to make sure that it's not just horse stuff, it's a horse lawyer. Because I think it's safe to say that like Hangman Adam Page is just a way lesser version of Fallon Henley at this point. But I agree with you about the booking here. The booking never makes sense, but you do have an organic build. I do think it's a little preemptive of some people with their like push Tiffany Stratton to the moon stuff. She is improving, and she's improving pretty rapidly. Like I'm not trying to take that away from her, but like improving rapidly from where she's starting from means she still has years to go. So it is encouraging to see things developing. I always try to, because the week to week is not great. But when we see things like the Creed brothers ring IQ improving, when we see things like Tiffany Stratton improving, like I do want to call those out, because there are givens like Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker. I feel like were obvious ones, but it is the point of this is to develop people. And so when we have people developing, it's great to see.
Yep.
Stunting them with booking makes no sense. Stunting them with booking, you know what I say? Nay.
Well, that's what somebody says about horse moves. You know what I say to horse moves? I say nay.
Well,
Says
you're
Sky
no fun,
Cinch.
Sky Cinch. Get on board. Saddle up or get left behind, buddy.
He's got a horse emoji, so you know.
I know. So good.
Fallon Henley here. By God, she just hit the BoJack corkscrew. Says Jake Hensler. And this wasn't a super chat, but I had to pull it up. And her finisher should be called Rode Hard and Put Away Wet.
That sounds like something that porn accountant would also be interested in. Didn't see her tonight.
JW, yeah, we didn't. JW Pringle brings up a very good point. I think it needs to be said. And thank you, JW Pringle, for bringing it to my attention. It's true. Double Vest of Double Vetch and the Beach fame was wearing exactly 0 vests tonight. You got to live the gimmick, man. If you decided, yeah, exactly. I don't give me this whole thing. My vests were I lost my vests, like they were lost in a terrible washing machine accident. I'm sorry, wear dirty vests.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Have at least 12, 15 vests on hand at any time, because you're going to need 2 of them.
A Doug Funny closet of vests. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, there were weeks where he's been single vest. Mm-hmm. So I want an explanation that we went from double to single. Is it seasonal? That seems like a reasonable thing.
Okay.
But to go no vest.
Yeah, it's just
grow up.
Yeah. Jim Battle to One Jam Beard says, give her a backward double kick out of the corner and call it the hey girl, hey. She's locked in the horseshoe walls of Jericho.
That felt lazy, but I'll take it. I just 1 week, I need Vic Joseph. Tiffany Stratton, horse girl, next. That's all I need in life.
Daddy's girl, horse girl, next.
Oh no, that's so good.
The Battle to One Jam Beard says, small package. Don't say that near the Miz.
That's very good.
There you go. So we'll just moving right on. Matthew Plus says, just got back from Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future, which is wild. And I'm dropping in to say Alan Katie suck with 12 views. Not watching Sour Graps because I have a life, unlike you saps. They're sucky McSuck faces, suck so much. But you paid us money.
Yeah, thanks for the money. We're getting paid to do this. And also, there's only one sap on this network, and it's the Sean Ross one.
Yeah.
So if you're going to come in hot with what you think is insults,
yeah,
but throwing my boss's name around, I'll beat you up.
Yeah. The Nerd Guru says, never thought I'd say this, but Tiffany greater than sign Lacey.
I'm not surprised to hear you say that in the slightest.
No. Because
I saw that one coming.
I think you can easily say that when Tiffany Stratton has as many years under her belt as Lacey Evans does, Tiffany Stratton will be light years beyond where Lacey Evans is now.
I would argue that based on what we saw last week, she already is.
Yeah.
She couldn't. Lacey Evans botched doing knees in the corner and then hit someone with a woman's right. Like, she's not good in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shotgun 29 says, Fallon fell and she couldn't giddy up. I'm swollen and I can't giddy up.
Giddy up. I heard it in Kramer from Seinfeld Boys. Giddy up.
The Graham B says, hear me out. Chairs wrapped in vests.
Chairs wrapped in vests?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why the chairs?
Why are the chairs wrapped in vests, Graham?
Explain. You don't have to super chat it, but you do have to explain yourself.
Put asterisks
Screw
by
it.
it.
No, send us money.
You know what? Okay. We got a Wesley versus sorry. They interviewed Mr. Stone backstage.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, and the Beach has a match versus Wagner, and there's been no interference because here's the thing, like, why are you calling him Brooks Jensen? Brooks Jensen. Call him what his real name is. And I was like, oh my God, does Robert Stone watch our show? Call him what his real name is. The Beach. Like if you just imagine Robert Stone saying that would be so great.
Call him his real name.
But he says
liar, Jensen. Good one.
Liar. He's a liar and a cheater because he lied about how he needed a cast, and then that's the only reason they won last week. So next week,
Alex, he's a wrestling manager.
I know.
Half his job is to talk, the other half is to cheat.
Yes.
You were right there. Why the hell weren't you interfering? I don't want a straight-laced wrestling manager.
I mean, Harvey Whippleman was injured most of his career just so he could use a crutch on somebody or wave a neck brace around or take off a cast and smack somebody with it. Take one for the team. All I'm saying is, Robert Stone, take one for the team and jump into traffic so that you can have lots of different things that you can wear on your person that can be used as weapons at any time.
It just, like, if there's a numbers game, you have two people on your side, too. Like, I'm sorry. Like, a wrestling manager who is like, you shouldn't be cheating is weird and dumb and not the point of a wrestling manager. Right. Liar Wagner or liar Jensen. Come on. Yeah. The whole point is for wrestling managers. Be fun. Yeah. No, cheat. Exactly right. Lie, cheat, steal, nerds.
Yes.
And what is Sophia Cromwell doing?
Sophia Cromwell's like, next week, Von Wagner versus Brooks Jensen. And like, we got to teach people how to say the word versus. Like, verse is just not a thing. Like, that's unless he's about to drop some fire bars, because if not, it's not the same thing.
This match, feet.
Graham,
this is the remix. No.
Graham B says that what he meant by hear me out, chairs wrapped in vests. What he meant was marijuana. And
chairs wrapped in marijuana, or he smoked marijuana and then said that. Every time he gives us an answer, I have more questions.
Yeah. Nerd Guru says double vest and the Beach not having a tag finisher that's like a double backbreaker called Brokeback Mountain is a travesty.
Like, not on this one. They couldn't even let Pretty Deadly hint at maybe being pansexual or gay.
No, couldn't do that. But at least at one point, there needs to be tension. In like, are they going to break up? Because it looks like Double Vest has is angry because the Beach keeps getting pinned or whatever, and maybe they're going to break up. And then we just have Double Vest walking into frame behind the Beach, who's just feeling all forlorn, and Double Vest goes, "I wish I knew how to quit you." And that's it. There you go.
The fatal flaw in your plan is, I just can't imagine WWE ever breaking up a tag team.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That was sarcasm, guys.
Yeah. That's true.
So funny.
Yeah, you are. You're very funny. You're a very funny person.
Thank you. I'm here to pop myself only.
we got a Lash legend and a Nathan Frazer promo thing
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with this Nathan Frazer promo.
All right, you go ahead and you pick away.
Listen, mister, I'm from Jersey, but I'm so happy to be in Orlando, but I'm not from New Jersey. No, I would never be from such a place. I spent my days diving into the sea. I'm not from the land of I can't make a left turn and malls and diners. I'm so much better than New Jersey. Get out of here, Frazer. Frazer. All right? There's nothing wrong with New Jersey just because you were like cliff diving into the most beautiful water ever in your proper Jersey. All right. And then the humble brag of like, well, I probably could have played football if I wanted to, but I always say that my heart was in the ring.
They told him he had to call it soccer, which must have stuck so far down deep in his craw that they made him say that.
You know, they were like, hey, soccer's being played right now. We should have him mention soccer. Get out of here with your superior. Oh, we're in the original jersey. Get out of here, all right?
Yeah.
I'll throw hands.
I don't know. So, yes, he says, I could have played professional
Please do
soccer.
the accent. Please don't, please do your Nathan Frazer impression when you're talking about him. Like,
well, when I was a little lad, they let me run out and kick the ball around, I did. And I was so good, I played wing and I took lots of risks and I scored lots of goalies. That's what we call them over there on the pitch. We call them goalies. We also call it football, but I've been told I'm not allowed to call it that. So anyway, I played the soccer, but I could have played professionally. I could have, but then I really wanted to be John Cena, didn't I? So I tried to be John Cena, and that's who I am right now. I'm John Cena. I'm Nathan Frazer, but I'm also John Cena.
Thank you. That was much better than if you didn't do the impression.
Appreciate it.
And in NXT's defense, considering their median age is like 65, that probably would confuse their audience.
It would.
It'd be like, football? That's not what that sport is.
That's not football. Luis bringing up the fact that it might be an ad because the English Premier League, which is what he was saying he was trying to join, is a partner of NBC, which owns Universal, which owns which is USA Network. So maybe that's it. But
Please don't throw logic.
No.
And
then Lash Legend talked about how she was the greatest athlete in the history of being athlete.
But she was a talk show host.
Well, they made her a talk show host to begin with because she didn't know how to wrestle yet. But she does have like an athletic pedigree, which is hard to believe, honestly, watching her have matches.
I was going to say, doesn't know how to wrestle yet.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, that's who she is. Because I remember when she scored 30 points against my alma mater, Oregon Ducks, in the NCAA tournament. I was like, oh, that's who that is? I remember her. She's good. And then she was saying like, hey, I was drafted and then COVID hit and everything shut down. And instead of waiting around for everything to come back, I decided I'm going to be a wrestler. And I was like, I understand that because WNBA does not pay great and does not pay at all when there's no games to be had. So she was like, let me figure out something else to do. But the fact of the matter is, like, she's young enough that if what I'm saying is she's probably way better at being a basketball player than she is a wrestler. And the WNBA is back. And she could probably get a job over there and do that for a few more years, rather than being here and possibly causing horrible bodily injury to somebody because she doesn't know what the hell she's doing yet. But yeah, I guess it was good to know where she came from, I suppose.
I'm just confused. Like, she seems like the perfect candidate for Level Up. Like, she is super athletic. So she has, like, from what I've read, I think behind Bianca Belair, like some of the best combine numbers they've had for the women. So if you see that potential in her, why isn't she just on Level Up, which is the whole point of Level Up, right? Like right. I don't know. That's just confusing to me.
Right. Jake Salazar says, LMFAO, this is WWE Wish.com version of Jade.
Something to think about.
No. No, not quite.
You got no.
No. Graham B says that was a 9 out of 10 Simon Miller impression.
Oh, can you say
Simon Miller's got more like this? I'm Simon Miller. Why?
Can you say I'm Simon Miller
Here's
from What
why.
Culture?
I can't do the thing that he does, but I like trying to. Why? Here's why.
We are breaking down the forbidden door. We dropped Casper Body Slam. We're talking about how great Simon Miller is. He really is. I really like him.
He's very good at what he does, and he could rip my head off. So
He could rip off a lot of people's heads off their bodies.
JW Pringle says Nathan Frazer's Real World audition tape needed to be more extreme in 90s. Wanker.
Him versus The Miz. Should we book it?
Gotta have it. Gotta have it done.
There you go.
Apparently he and Carmelo murdered it in a house show match on their little loop this past weekend.
Oh, really?
Frazer versus Carmelo.
That doesn't surprise me. I don't know.
I hope that's coming to a North American Championship televised match very soon. Wes Lee finally getting around to it. Had a match versus Zion Quinn, where Zion Quinn flung him all around the ring, and then Wes Lee hit two things, and then jumped off the top rope and did a spinny deal, a corkscrew senton thing, and won. Okay, it's like if it seems like we've now moved Wes Lee past Zion Quinn without ever giving Wes Lee and Zion Quinn a chance to have a real match, but whatever. Because backstage, Zion Quinn walks past Sanga, and Sanga is there with Ulisa de Leon and Valentina Feroz, and he's chatting them up as you would.
Of course,
they gave Sanga what they should have given Veer as a gimmick. Is the jet-setting Indian playboy in a suit who just I'm just here to talk to people and maybe beat somebody up.
It's clicking. I really actually like this
working
a lot.
Because he said, but the thing about him though is that he might kind of need more of a mouthpiece, because I had to go back and watch the one line he said to Zion like 3 times before I got what he was saying. His accent is very thick, but he says, hello, my friend. You aren't even running it straight. You're not even walking straight. And I was like, oh, right. Running it straight. That's a thing that Zion Quinn says maybe once or twice every 3 or 4 months. If it was a thing he said all the time, they might want to make it that. Anyway, Zion Quinn says, who the hell are you? What do you want? And then Sanga stands up and Zion's like, I'm leaving. And then Sanga says, ladies, I think I have found my next opponent. I'm like, okay, all right. Sanga seems very cool. I don't understand at all what the whole thing was to begin with him and Grayson Waller. Now it seems like they removed him from Grayson Waller so that Sanga could fly, because it was being held back by Grayson Waller.
I'm kind of confused too, because it seems like they also nixed the Tiffany Stratton romance with Grayson Waller, and I was like, oh, that actually, I kind of liked that. I think I compared it to the asshole sketch from SNL. I thought that was kind of fun. You would buy that type of heel would be dating a daddy's girl. Of all the horniness that they have there, they scrapped the one thing that I like. I really, really wish, this was fine. This was benign, but I wish Zion Quinn had, when he stepped to Sanga and Sanga stood up, had given a little bit more of a, that was a bad idea reaction to sell the fact that Sanga's this really huge dude, and Zion Quinn is a little bigger than I think I thought, seeing them stand next to each other, but I felt like he still should have been like a
6'3.5", 6'4", but Sanga's bigger than that, so.
Yeah, and he should have I felt like the whole point of him standing up was that, right? So I just wish his reaction had been a little bit more of a well, that was not smart. But but this was fine. And this is clicking for me with Sanga. I really like seeing this iteration of a character on screen as a face. Like we never get to see that. So this is working, and he's way more charismatic than we got to see with him as Grayson Waller's bodyguard. And I would appreciate continuity, but I do have more forgiveness of them just scrapping gimmicks because it is developmental and they're trying to find what templates kind of work for people, right? But yeah, it would be nice if they ironed out those wrinkles.
Yes, it would be. So I didn't realize they were spelling the dyad with a Y.
No, are they really? I missed that.
Yeah, they're spelling the dyad with a Y.
Come on.
This is not how you spell that. But
no, but it's one of the same letters of GYV.
Yeah, there we go.
They're gonna be like dastardly young.
They're like
appropriate
okay, like
dads.
I don't want to conjure up any talk of the man himself, but if you watch any of the old Cosby Show, Cliff Huxtable, when he wore pajamas, wore this exact outfit, billowy like velour or satin, like really long shirts and billowy sleeves, and they were maroon colored or dark purple or dark blue, and so they're wearing Huxtable pajamas and hoods, and not only wearing hoods, but like they got the mask over their face to make sure that even if the hoods somehow come down, you don't know who they are. We all know who they are. This whole I'm not going to allow them to reveal who they are thing is kind of pointless when you have them wrestle a match versus Dante Chen and Javier Bernal, and then they win the match with GYV's finishing move. Like they didn't even give them a different finishing move. If you're going to hide out who they are, like, well, we won't tell you who they are. When time is not right to reveal yourselves, go out there and do a
show you.
Boy, oh boy, will we show you exactly who they are. Oh boy.
Maybe we're wrong, and it's Bill Cosby. Maybe one of them is Bill Cosby.
I don't know.
I don't want that. But the pajamas are quite a giveaway.
I don't like that. Dyad says, now known as the Pajama Jammy Jam.
I would like that better.
That's good. It's better. Yes, it's good. So yeah. Yeah. So that's what we're doing now. Joe Gacy standing at ringside, giving really weird, creepy smiles.
It is really weird.
When Dante Chen was going to get some kind of push because they gave him a friggin' vignette about how he had his debut in September and then got hurt, and while he was hurt, before he could have his second match, his dad died like for real, and so he was going to come back and like do it for his dad, and now he's a jobber in a tag team that they threw together because they needed somebody to lose to the Dyad. That's not fair to Dante Chen.
No, it's not.
And it's not fair to Dante Chen's dead dad, who's watching from above and being like, what is this booking of my son that you are doing? It's terrible.
See, that makes me sad because I feel like booking frustration shouldn't exist in heaven, but I also feel like if booking frustrations exist in heaven, assuming I'm going there, which might be a leap, I just feel like that's not fair. I can't be haunted by bad booking for all eternity. That's so rude.
Yeah. Nikita Lyons is coming back. Your mileage may vary. I'm not going to go into it. Nikita Lyons is coming back. She's working out in the gym. Her knee is getting better, she says. She's going to hear the lion roar. So anyway,
that's the exact amount of attention that deserves.
We get the promotion of Stacks and Two Dimes.
Sure do, except one of them's not with the company anymore. They had days, Alex. They had days. who figured this out.
Well, no, there's nothing you could do about this. Like, this is a whole thing. Like, this is a major storyline going forward in next week. Like, it's a major deal. You can't edit
Tony
him out.
D'Angelo, you could kill him off.
Well, no, but you can't. I honestly think they would have killed him off if tonight was a live episode. Tonight being a taped episode, they did all this stuff. They had 2 giant segments for this episode. And they have a huge match scheduled for next week. Like, it's a unfortunately, they couldn't do this. So, I mean, I think if he had been released on a disciplinary thing, like, oh, hey, look at that, all these accusations are coming down, we got to get rid of this guy, like they did with Nash Carter, they would have pulled everything. But because it was like, hey, we'll see you next year, kid.
The policy was? I'm wondering if it's a third-party income stupid thing would be my guess. But I'm glad he's on good terms. That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, so Tony comes down. He's got Legato with him, who don't like being ordered around, but that's what they're supposed to do right now.
Santos Escobar looks so cool all the time.
I love
He's so cool.
I love how put upon you are by that. Oh my God.
I will never be that cool looking.
My life sucks so much because I'm not Santos.
It's true. There's some people that I'm just because it doesn't matter what he's wearing, though what he's wearing is really cool. It's just who he is so cool. And I spend my Tuesdays doing impressions of an old woman on a wrestling post show.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
So anyway, Tony D's like, hey, these are my guys. I've known you since I was in the womb. You're my best friend since that time you punched that dude in the mouth. Also, didn't we rob this thing together? We go back, you and I. Anyway, you've been promoted. Here's a nice watch. Here's an envelope full of cash. And go out and buy your girl Gina a real nice steak. Anyway, so it's nice. And then he talks about how after all the promotions thing are done, because they've gone from associates to soldiers, which is a very, very important thing in the mob. Anyway, he says, now we got to do something for the Don of NXT. Now it's time to be the A champion of NXT. And I just say it. Just say it. Even though I don't think you're ever actually going to win the belt. Say it. Say it, Tony. Now it's time to change the North American champion to the Italian American champion. Just say it. Say it for me, Tony. Please. I need to hear you say it because I want it to be true so bad.
I'm going to throw a couple things out there. The first is, do you think he eventually does? Do you think he wins the title and this title becomes the thing that he and Escobar are fighting over for all of the summer?
I don't know. I mean, spoilery. He won't become champion for a while. But if he does, I'd love to see that. That'd be really cool. I'd like to see that a lot. I would also low key. I would love to see him have a feud with Giovani Vinci about who is more actually Italian.
Oh yeah,
that would be great. If you give Tony D the Italian American Championship, the North American Championship, he makes it the Italian American Championship. He slaps a big Italian flag sticker over the little logo on the front. The next sound we hear has to be Giovanni Vinci's music when he comes out and being like, how dare you? I'm the only real Italian here. This is how we talk in a real Italy.
Okay, so follow-up question. And I want you to hold your thoughts because it's very important.
Okay.
I want to know if you think this story is more magical or less magical than, say, a protein-packed breakfast cereal. But before you make that decision, I want you to have all of the information. So I think the best thing that we can do is have Sean Ross Sapp tell you all about Magic Spoon. And then after you have all the information, you can let us know.
Do you like cereal but hate all the junk that's associated with it? Well, magicspoon.com/Fightful has you covered. Save $5 off your order when you get a custom bundle, custom box right now. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs per serving. Only 140 calories per serving. Keto-friendly, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and gluten-free. And right now you can build your own box. Not just right now, anytime. Blueberry, cinnamon, honey nut, maple waffle, cookies and cream, cocoa fruity frosted peanut butter. All the flavors you loved growing up. And how about this? A money-back guarantee. If for some reason you don't like it or you just want your money back, magicspoon.com/Fightful does that. Not only is it great in the mornings, it's great for a snack throughout the day, a midnight snack as well, without having all those carbs and unhealthy parts of cereal. magicspoon.com/Fightful.
Okay, now that you're informed and that I quickly just ran to the bathroom, what do you think is more magical? The spoon or the Dan?
The spoon, but only because they're a sponsor.
Yeah, no, they pay us, so.
Valab says, first off, he wouldn't say Italian American title. He'd say Italian American title.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I also have something that I need to bring up.
Yeah?
Because we as a society, and I mean a Sour Graps society, there's just not enough of these emojis in the chat anymore when we talk about this. So it's okay for today, and I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. We gotta bring back the emojis. Continue.
Gotta bring them back. But give me some of them in the chats. Italian fingers in the chats. But anyway, he says I want to I want to become champion. And then Carmelo's music hits and he and Trick Williams come out and he says hey, you want to talk about me? I'm right here. And says, you'll keep your nose out of my business. And like you're obviously talking, you want to become the A champion, North American champion. Like, I wasn't even talking to you. It's like, yeah, obviously you are. Like, I think that's funny. I think it's good. And then, you know, he and Trick run their mouths. So, then we get a challenge for later this evening. Let's have Stacks and Two Dimes versus Trick Carmelo. And so Orion Benso says, so next on NXT Full House, Two Dimes is the sitcom kid that Tony D sent up the stairs and no one ever hears from them again. That's good. Valab with our trademark, keep cool, gabagool. Absolutely.
And with your spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mark Quill says, just want to use this one humper chat and my donation to not only say hi to Alex, Kate, and the whole gang, but also propose the best way to write off Two Dimes from NXT. Soprano-style death by Legado del Fantasma with an obvious stand-in. Like, it's obviously not him. It's obviously a stunt double.
That would be really fun.
And they they beat him to death or whatever. Or like do like a deep fake where like you put his, but a bad one, like you put his face on some obvious stand-in and he gets in the car and turns the key and the car explodes, but it's like stock footage of a car exploding. But
here's the thing. Sometimes when people explode in limousines, they just happen to find their way back, don't they, Vince McMahon?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, only because of a very Very unfortunate thing that happened.
We're just gonna keep moving along.
Yeah. I thought that was a Family Matters thing. I think it was. Yeah, that was the kid that goes up the stairs and never comes back. My particular fantasy booking of of what we should do with Tony D'Angelo and Giovani Vinci. Bill Alphabet, with a very good point, says you can only do so much with Tony and Giovani.
I am floored at how great that pun is. I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
I got to think of an Italian food joke right now. I have to step it up. What do you call it when Tony D'Angelo is a substitute for Andre Chase?
I don't know. What do you call it?
An Italian sub. Hey! Cannoli was better, but it was short notice. I did my best. I even said substitute. That was
you did. You even did. I was like, I should have known. I should have known. So yeah, the Goombas versus versus Carmelo and Trick. It ends because Joaquin Wilde distracts the ref, and Cruz del Toro, Raul Mendoza, goes for a springboard crossbody, but misses Trick or Carmelo, one of the two, and hits the Goomba in the ring, whoever it was. And that causes the defeat.
It does.
And Tony is furious about this. And then later backstage says, you all better get in line because you follow me because I'm the Don of NXT. And next week I got a match for the North American Championship versus Carmelo Hayes. And you all better get in line and help me out in this thing. So, yeah.
Hey,
apparently
Alex.
It was two dimes who ate the pin. So.
Of course.
He went out on his back.
He did.
He didn't know he was going out on his back, but he did.
You do a really great Tony D impression.
Yeah.
Do you know where people could go to request impressions or just to have their general statement or question read on air?
You could tell them where they could do.
You could go to humperchats.com or you could send in a super chat and we'll get your question answered or your statement read on air. Or if it's jukebox time, Alex will do impressions. We've already seen Tony D and Nathan Frazer and kind of Simon Miller. So just saying, feel free to send in your super chats and your humper chats.
Yes. I'm getting a thing here from Luis saying promote Twitch bits. And I have no idea what that is. Twitch bits sounds like a terrible condition you can have where you have like Parkinson's of only one particular part of your body.
Twitch bits kind of sounds like something Tatiana, what's her name? Price? Tatiana Price?
Oh, donations on Twitch are called bits?
That's correct. So you can buy bits on Twitch and you can send in chats that way.
I don't do the Twitch. Sometimes I have sometimes I have the restless leg syndrome, but that's not the same thing.
When I get dehydrated, sometimes I also have the Twitch.
My nephew always asks me, Aunt Linda, you got to get on the Twitch. And I'm like, I got the restless leg syndrome. I'm doing fine with all the twitching. Thank you. It's
true. And, see, you took off the glasses. I can't keep it going when you take off the glasses.
I'm sorry. I don't have anything else to say.
No. Now we've lost it.
Okay.
Don't sweet talk to me now, Linda.
Jim Pringle says it was also a Happy Days thing. Richie and Joni had an older brother named Chuck. I know too many useless things.
It's useless.
Yeah.
If you don't get to showcase that knowledge, which you just did.
You did.
And also thanks for paying to tell us it. So that's definitely not useless.
Yeah. Tom LaValle says, what is it called when Tony D is in the locker room? Italian dressing.
Hey, I love it.
So here a few things. Cameron Grimes, first time we've seen him since he lost the title. He's walking backstage, walks in, and just some faceless random people backstage go, "Hey, that was a great match. You had it in your house. I'm sorry you lost. Thanks, guys, but not really looking for sympathy right now. Walks past Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker says, hey, I know how it feels to lose the title. Don't worry. You'll be champion again. He says, thanks, Braun, but I'm really looking for sympathy right now. And he walks away. This is the exact same thing to people. And then Duke Hudson walks up and says, oi, I beat you for I get you just how long are you gonna care about beating me by DQ? As long as I can. So and like Braun's like, you know what? Let's have a match tonight. Let's just do it. And then Braun Breaker and Duke Hudson have a match. Match is charitable. Braun Breaker murdered Duke Hudson in front of 300 people
via spear.
Jesus. I'm of two minds on this. I think Braun Breaker should do this to literally most people he is in the ring with. 90% of the people he gets in the ring with, the match should be no longer than 3 minutes. And I have a soft spot in my heart for Duke Hudson because I think that he's not being allowed to be as good as he could be. And so I don't like him getting done this way. But as long as Braun does this to almost everybody, I'm okay with it. If it looks like it's just murdering Duke Hudson for no reason. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would also like to see him now that it seems like we've cleared out of this Joe Gacy story. Like it would
thank the Lord.
Thank the Lord on high. It would be nice if he defended the title more and just started squashing. Like we need to rebuild him after that 3 months of utter trash. And before that, he was fighting Dolph Ziggler. So he needs to feel important in NXT again. So he should just be sparing the hell out of people. I agree with you about Duke Hudson. I would like to see Duke Hudson on some sort of track now. Like I would like to see him be built up to become a contender for the North American title or something. Like he just is kind of having like these one-off matches. I understand that the story he was in got derailed, but it's time for him to be made to look somewhere as important and relevant as his abilities are or in the same arena. Like I hated what he was doing with Cameron Grimes, but Cameron Grimes is a pretty big NXT presence. So like I thought that he was at least felt important. Like we need to get him some wins on a track to feeling important again.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice. The Batted to One Jam Beard says the only thing I know from Happy Days is that Joni loves Chachi. That was its own show though, spinoff.
That is true. You know things. You know the term "jump the shark" came from it.
It's true.
You know that it hit the jukebox, and you know the A, and you know the theme. Everybody knows the theme.
Grimes, Cameron Grimes comes out after Braun Breaker beats the fuck out of Duke Hudson, and Cameron Grimes is like, the only reason, it's so funny, the only reason that you're the champion is because you've got that last name. And I was like, he doesn't even have the last name, Cameron. That's the whole point. That's why we've been saying Breaker, because they're not actually giving him his real name. If he was Steiner, that would be great. Says you. I'm not saying you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, or you like, but you definitely ate more than I did. It's a weird thing. And
it's that
your
the
dad
is silver, right? Not that it's enormous.
I guess like what was Cameron Grimes doing? Like sucking spilled KFC gravy out of the carpet? Like I don't understand. Like
well, I think it's like fake silver versus real silver, right?
I don't know.
Versus John Silver.
Johnny Hungy. And so is Cameron. Cameron also Hungy. Cameron Hungy for that NXT title. And Cameron says, your daddy is Rick Steiner and my daddy is dead. And so I want a title match. It's a very weird thing to say to me. But Braun's like, okay, you're on. So at Great American Bash on the 5th of July, we're going to get Cameron Grimes versus Braun Breaker, and that is a match that I think Cameron Grimes could be able to last 10 minutes in. I think a long match for Braun Breaker should be 10 minutes. Like, that's the way I think you should be booking Braun Breaker until you find the guy who can take him to his limit. But anyway, I think it should be a great match. But that was interesting to me that they've decided Cameron Grimes, whose last match he lost, should get the next top title shot.
Kind of, but like, if you lose a title to move up to another title picture, that doesn't usually bug me in wrestling. I feel like that happens a lot. Any story in between is probably a good call. Also, a reminder, guys, if you don't like the show or the length of it, you don't have to be here.
No.
Just a heads up. Don't be weird.
There are. I'm sure there are a lot of other like 40-minute review shows of NXT.
Yeah, of NXT. I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
We are silly.
Yes.
Get over it.
We have a very niche, devoted audience. I'm totally fine with that. I'm not trying
and they
to
effing rule. So
yeah, they're
don't
awesome.
come in here with like your it's such a long show. Yeah, duh. Get on board or get left behind. I don't care.
I mean, like the Cease twins says I believe says I literally want the show to be 6 hours long. So there you go.
There you go. Sean would kill us, but
yeah. He had me murdered. Anyway, then backstage, Idris and Afe, and Malik Blade in his sweater vest, and Idris and Afe completely shirtless, are about to go hit the clubs. And Cameron Grimes is like, "Hey guys, going to get the clubs? That's good. The biggest night of your career. Like, yeah. Want to come? No, because I don't do that. I don't walk out on my job in the middle of my shift." Like, he just gets really, really serious about it. And he says to Edison O'Fay, you are built like a friggin' statue. And you're incredibly talented. I see how hard you work. I don't want you to waste your talent. And he walks away. And he never even looks at Malik Blade. And I was like, ouch for Malik Blade. Because basically Cameron Grimes was like, Edison Afe, you're great. Also, there's nobody else standing near me right now. Goodbye. And it was just a weird thing. It was a rough night for Malik Blade.
Did you feel like I felt, which was that this was like a very weird shot at Sasha and Naomi?
Oh. I did not.
No.
But
if you said, "Oh,"
you may be right.
I may be crazy, but just may be a lunatic you're looking for.
Better one, Jam Beards. Yeah, you did. Can we go back to 3-hour NXT review sing-alongs?
No, we'll get in trouble.
We can't. Also, we have another podcast to record right after this, so we don't want that one to go 3 hours and then the other one to no. So I think we're probably going to get between now and Great American Bash, we're going to get Cameron Grimes versus Edison O'Fay, which should be a great match. By the way, on a certain level, I think Cameron Grimes was entirely right to single out Edison O'Fay as a guy who has a really bright career ahead of him and is super talented and works really hard and is great. And was also kind of right to ignore Malik Blade. But at the same point, I'm not the person who should be deciding that, and you should not be doing that to your talent on screen. If Malik Blade, like Anderson Afe says, hey, let's go to the clubs. Oh, I forgot my shirt in the locker room. Go bring the car around. I'll be out there in a second. And Malik Blade isn't in the scene when Edison O'Fay and Cameron Grimes have this scene. It would be a lot less awkward than Malik Blade just standing there like he's a ghost in the Christmas Carol, and we all put shadows, and no one can see or hear us.
Know what that reminded me of?
What's that?
When Von Wagner made his main roster debut, nobody acknowledged him.
Alpha Bill says, oh no, Malik Blade has been Wagnered.
Like he was standing there with Adam Pearce and Sami Zayn, and nobody explained who he was, and Sami Zayn kind of looked at him like, and this guy we've never met is here.
He might have been looking through him. You never know. we got our first match of Giovani Vinci, who is referred to in our rundown by our moderator Luis as Sexy Eichner. Sexy Eichner versus Guru Raj.
If that is not a chant at some point,
Sexy Eichner. Sexy Eichner. Matthew
do your
Plus.
job, the performance center
Matthew
crowd.
Plus. We're still streaming. We will continue to stream. You don't have to be here, but you can continue giving us money.
I would so prefer you just give us your credit card and not be here, Matthew.
Yeah,
Plus.
there you go.
But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
There's a fellow named Michael Keys who gave us a subscription. So thank you.
Oh, yes.
Michael Keys. We appreciate you for subscribing.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Like the paid subscription thing. I don't know the proper terminology.
I don't know how to. Yeah, there you go.
A member. I think you're a Fightful trainee, it says. I think you're a Fightful YouTube member by doing that. So we appreciate you.
So Giovanni Vinci comes out and he poses and looks at the camera, and the camera takes a picture of him, and it says Vini, and then it says he walks along and he poses again, and it says Vidi, and he walks along again, and it says, and he poses again, and it says Vinci, and he walks along, gets in the ring, and it is this, and it poses and it takes their camera, and it says Giovanni Vinci, and I was like, are we doing this literally every time he comes to the ring? Because it's worn out its welcome with me already. You're
out of your mind. That rules. I'm so in on that. Get out of town and take a bus. That is so much fun. I love it so much.
I guess I don't want him to be this character. I don't want him to be smiling.
Well, tough nugs.
No. Like the character they described in this thing. He is the ultimate sportsman. Look at him drive a Ferrari. That guy's a heel. The guy who's got all the money in the world. He's a jet-setting playboy from Italy who eats at the fanciest restaurants and goes skiing in the Alps whenever he wants to. That guy's a heel. I don't want to see the guy who's like a smiling model that we're supposed to cheer for. I love Fabian Eichner. I don't want his moveset ruined. But you've described to me over the course of several vignettes a heel character. And him coming out and being like smiley guy feels weird to me. So I went against my expectations, and I don't like that.
I'm wondering if the initial part of it was because they figured he'd get a pop.
Maybe.
They don't usually care that much, so I don't know.
Yeah. He's great. He's one of the most freakish athletes that they have on the roster and has been now for years and years and years. Originally, when I had only seen a picture of him, when I was doing a full breakdown of the bracket of the Cruiserweight Classic that he was in, where he lost in the second round, I believe. There was one picture of him, and this the way the lighting was, it looked like his entire body was muscle, like even his head, because it was bald. And then his face was on it, and this, and
literally a muscle head.
And I said, Fabian Eichner looks like what would happen if you asked a 5-year-old to draw a face on a bicep. Like that's what he looks like to me. And he still does. But he's brilliant. He's so friggin' awesome. So I want him to be great and to get a huge, massive push. But we'll see where all this goes. Apparently, there was a digital exclusive promo he cut where he's just talking regular. Like, he's not even talking like this. What are you even doing? Why is he even Italian if you're not going to talk like this? But he finishes with a slightly twisting, gigantic, like golden star power bomb thing. Like a huge elevated last ride that he does to Guru Raj. That was awesome, which is not the way I've ever seen him win a match before. Usually he does like a moonsault of some kind. So yeah, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
I want to see him cut a promo real bad. Like I was kind of let down that we didn't get that tonight. I figured he would win, but he looked great. He's always looked great in the ring. I'm glad that it seems like the reason he's been pulled behind is because they think he has single star potential and not like as punishment. That makes me really happy because he's fantastic. So he deserves that. But yeah, this was a perfectly serviceable match. I want to see him on the mic real bad. Because he might talk like that. We don't really know.
We don't know. Solo Sikoa got interviewed about how he wants his title match or whatever. And then he got run up on by Grayson Waller, who says, you just had to hitch your wagon and hide behind a main roster guy coming down. And I really want to be like, yeah, Grayson, you don't have much of a pretty good history with main roster guys coming down, do you?
Yeah, not so much.
I wish they would have done that, but they didn't do that. But now we're going to get Grayson Waller versus Solo Sikoa next week. Kate, this is where I have to tell you that I am refraining from spoilers. But I'm just going to say that, Kate, with this face, Kate, I'm going to tell you that I am refraining from spoilers about next week's results, Kate.
Okay, but I think.
So I made it only slightly less obvious about what happens in that match than it is obvious that GYV are actually the Dyad. Slightly less obvious.
You know what? I'll take that. That's fair. I would say you're not solo in your feelings about the outcome.
Yeah. So we got our main event, which was preceded by two promos, where Cora Jade and Roxy are like backstage, like reminiscing. It says, "Remember that time we were in New York and my gear got lost, so I had to use your gear? Yeah, that was bad." Wait, there's a whole other chapter in the story
that
you haven't told me. Why was it bad that they had to use your gear instead? Because it was gear that you had worn the night before and hadn't been washed yet? Why was it bad that she had to wear your gear or whatever? And then Indy Hartwell goes, "I remember when I had a friend and a love like yours, but it was taken away from me. One thing you all have to know, it's crazy around here and everything could change in a moment." And I was like, because they could release your storyline husband and for real life best friend in the same day, in the middle of a storyline that's been building for literally years. Anyway,
I like that she acknowledges it, though. I find that refreshing.
I like that she acknowledges it, but it always feels like she's doing it even though she's not supposed to. But she's like,
it feels like a little defiant in a way.
Yeah.
Because she, everything that she had built got ripped from her. You know what I mean? Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So we need that girl who beat everybody up last week to come out and play with us or whatever. It's like, yeah. And then she awkwardly reaches way over behind her to slam the locker before high-fiving everybody in an even more awkward fashion. And then we got even more awkward. Toxic Attraction. Like, okay, so we get it. They're heels. But, like, the hats...
Did you know that they're hot?
Their hats and Mandy Rose's sunglasses. It's like they went to the obnoxious clothes store and found the most obnoxious stuff. Not the stuff that was out on the shelves. The really obnoxious stuff they have in the back. Hey, Love Wrestling. Thank you for the Twitch raid. Apparently, I'm supposed to say that.
Oh my goodness!
We got raided.
So much. Do you know what a raid is?
I'm assuming it's a good thing because I was told to thank somebody about it.
A raid is when people are watching on Twitch and you go to end your own broadcast. You can kind of like auto send their followers to somebody else's broadcast, and somebody did that for
here.
Us. So thank you so much. We're talking NXT. This is a very non-traditional review show. It's more of a variety show where there's a lot of impressions and sometimes singing. We're very silly. It's called Sour Graps for a reason. We're hypercritical, but always substantive and always fun. So if you're new to us, thank you for coming over. And thank you for the raid, whoever sent it to us. I don't know if that was mentioned, but we appreciate the added viewership. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yes. So we got the match. And the one thing I will say about the match is the ending was really brutal to look at. They obviously did a lot of editing around of it. But Cora Jade went for her senton off the top rope and landed flush on Gigi Dolan's ribs. Oh no, I lost Kate. Goodbye, Kate. Kate, are you coming back? Kate, come back. Kate, is she back? You back, Kate? Kate, hi, Kate.
The ending was so rough, I had to leave. No, I'm sorry. Sometimes it's very easy to accidentally exit StreamYard, but I was trying to slowly work my mouse over to calling this up. We are on Twitch at Fightful Gaming.
Yes.
And there's a lot of really great stuff, wrestling and non-wrestling related, that happens there. So as I was trying to slowly crawl my mouse over, I accidentally exited. But this was really rough to look at. I haven't seen reports of if Gigi is injured, but it looks like she was for real injured. That was really rough. Yeah.
She let out a sound that I've never heard. Like it was a very high-pitched cry. Like she had the wind knocked out of her so hard she couldn't draw breath. I hope there was no like actual rib damage, but Cora Jade has been missing her senton off the top rope by jumping too far and just missing it. And so they were like, okay, we need to work on you landing it better. And she landed it too good. And then that was
do a different move. We're at the point now where you should just be doing a different move. That goes in the skateboarding collection where it's just something we're not necessarily great at. And so you do a different move.
Yeah. But the way that you know it wasn't her just selling in the moment was that they edited around it really, like they edited around it so that like Cora Jade comes in and does that thing, and then she tags in Roxy, who then just kind of makes a gingerly cover.
And good on her for doing that.
And good for her for doing that. But obviously there was supposed to be another thing that happened afterwards that they didn't do.
Yes.
And then they focus on only the three who won, and then two women who lost backing slowly up the ramp. So Gigi was supposed to be with them, but was not. So yeah, that's tough.
I'm sure if something's up, that'll be on Fightful and just the straight up Fightful.
She wrestled the live events. It looks like she's okay, which is
that's
nice.
Good.
Which is
that's
nice,
good.
But it did not look good. Ed Uribe says, I don't know which is more faker. Cora Jade is a skater or Cora Jade's friendship with Roxy. No, they're actual friends. The problem is that the scripts they're giving them aren't allowing them to seem like they're actually friends. Like, I guarantee you, Roxy and Cora Jade have an actual story that they could reference and make it seem real because it is. But they were like, no, here's the script we wrote you about. Like, remember that time we were in New York and I lost my gear and I had to wear yours? Yeah, that was bad. Like, no, just let them talk because they're actually friends.
I just love, sincerely, that they think that's what friendship is.
Yeah, that was
oh
bad.
My God.
And Alpha Bill says, Alex, is Grayson part of the bloodline now?
That was not the spoiler.
That is not the spoiler.
I'll tell you what's not the spoiler. Thankfully,
that's not the spoiler. Yeah. Thankfully. The Battered One Jam Beard says the Dyad in pajamas are coming down the stairs. The Dyad in pajamas are coming down in pairs. I don't think it must not be fun to wrestle in that. If you've been wrestling, spoiler alert, in trunks and kick pads and wrist tape, and that's the way you wrestle your entire career, and they're like, here's a pair of Huxtable pajamas we'd like you to wrestle in. Also, this mask and a hood on. Which has got to completely change the way that you move.
Remember when... oh my gosh, what was the terrible stable that Dijak was in? Why am I blanking on the name of it?
Retribution?
Retribution. Remember when they unveiled their masks to reveal other masks?
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's what happens. I hope they take off their hoods to reveal masks to reveal more masks. I think that's fun. But like Wendy Chu was wrestling in pajamas. Let that be her thing.
Yeah. Jada Pringle says, "Hey, new kids, welcome to the stream. The Council of Marks is our de facto government. Our leaders are there to are there awesome people. Our Pope is one tall Paul Elizabeth. Linda and Sheila are 100% factual news source." So
all of that is extremely true.
Thanks.
Paul Elizabeth, also my dad, and kayfabe last name, and Linda and Sheila are. I mean, they tell the truth. They tell the truth.
They live their truth.
They do. They live their truth, which sometimes is on the Oregon Trail.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it's present day.
You never know. Shotky29 says, not NXT related, but got to get this out. What cold corner of hell are we in that Impact feels compelled to bring the reverse battle royal back? Why? I have not heard that they are bringing it back, but that does sound like a cold corner of hell. Yeah.
I love it.
You would. You love the reverse battle royal.
It's fun. I'll say this. I think Impact does gimmicky very well most of the time that they do gimmicky. They did the only good wrestling wedding outside of me loving all wrestling weddings. They did that whole murder mystery thing that they did super well. So like if they're bringing back the reverse battle royal, I hope they're going to do something really fun with it, which is why I'm optimistic of it. As a concept, it is stupid, but hear me out. So is a lot of wrestling. So I will judge it once it's in front of me, but I don't know. That just sounds like fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they made the official, made the return official today, says Luis. So
Impact has been really solid for the past 6 to 8 months or so. Like it's been a really good wrestling program. Yeah. I wish it was more accessible and more easily accessible to people, but they're doing a really good job with their talent and their stories, especially considering how like loose the contracts at Impact are. I think they're doing a really good job over there. The porn bots are back.
No, not the porn bots. We didn't even say anything.
Did you come in via the Twitch raid?
Did Twitch people, did you bring the porn bots? Scotty Bobox says, adding to the marijuana theme, a couple months ago, I decided to do an experiment. Watch the first half of NXT 2.0 in a clear state of mind, then the second half after visiting Matt Riddle in spirit. The second half always leaves me thinking the show is great. That must be it, I suppose. Jake Salazar says, Matty Minus's life is just his right hand. And JW Pringle says, Matty Minus, sounds like you need a hug. Hopefully you feel better tomorrow and that my reverse psychology works, you scooch.
He is a scooch. He's the scoochiest of scooches.
We got some other ones up here. Scotty Bobox says, damn you playing that ad. I sent a message yesterday. SRS was dying. If you search your penis is soft, let me help on effing YouTube. One of the results is a guy rubbing coconut oil on his uncensored junk for about 15 minutes. Educational with 36 million views. Oh my God.
I have so many questions that we don't have time for.
Do that.
One of them is, what you searching on YouTube, my friend?
What? Well, I think he's trying to find that clip so that he can play it,
Do not.
Don't do that.
Do not.
Mark Quill says, want to use my other Humper Chat just to praise Alex and Kate for being a very fun show and a highlight of my Tuesday nights. Keep doing what you do, and I greatly appreciate your continued kindness and friendships to the SGS. Y'all also rule. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Tom LaValle says, so about NXT. Tomorrow we get Ospreay versus Dax. Dax has been the best, most consistent wrestler in 2022 thus far. I can't wait. That will be a very, very good match. Dax has been outstanding. Yeah.
Outstanding. Singles, tag, whatever. He's fantastic.
I was kind of hoping that they still did a ladder match tomorrow, but just put the FTR in place of the Hardys, and did FTR, Young Bucks, and Jurassic Express. We'll see.
I was hoping there would be Swerve and Lee, since there's like dissension there. That could be fun to do. Swerve in a ladder match. Are you kidding?
Swerve has said on Twitter, dead weight. Like, he broke up. Like, there's not like dissension after the Battle Royal. Like, he kicked Keith Lee out the club. That's it. They're done.
Well, that's
so now that's sad. But now we're gonna get that feud, which should be good.
Yeah, we are.
Ricardo the Mark says, "Hola from my vacay in San Clemente, California." Hola.
Enjoy
Ricardo
vacation.
the Mark. Yeah. Josh Cardenas says, "I'll ask you guys this question: thoughts on Thunder Rosa sandbagging and being unsafe in the ring?" I have not heard anything resembling that.
The suplex spot looked not great. It's never an okay thing to do if she was doing that. I know she was sick the week before, so I don't know if she's still affected by it, but I don't have any specific thoughts other than it would seem uncharacteristic of her, and it's never an okay or safe thing to do to someone.
Right. The Batted at One Jam Beard says, "I think I found the most perfect song for Tony." And then he's found it. He wants it to be "Shut Up in Your Face" by Joe Dolce.
Before we do that,
yeah.
Last call for Humper Chats. Last call for Super Chats. We're coming down the home stretch. Also, please leave a thumbs up on this video. It really helps people find us. And also subscribe to Fightful Select for just $5 a month for the latest and greatest breaking news in all of wrestling and to be cool.
All right, here we go. When I was a boy, just about the 8th grade, Mama used to say, "Don't stay out late with the bad boys. Always shoot a pool. Giuseppe gonna flunk a school." Boy, it'll make me sick. All the thing I gotta do. Can't get no kicks. Always gotta follow the rules. Boy, you're making me sick. Just to make a lousy bucks, you gotta feel like a fool. And Mama used to say all the time, "What's the matter, you? Hey, got no respect. What do you think you do? Why you looking so sad? Yeah, not so bad. It's a nicer place. Hey, shut up in your face." That's my mama. I can remember. Hey, gabagool. Shut up in your face.
That's a good Tony D phrase.
Shut up in your face. It's a good one. It is a good one. I don't know who sent this in, but somebody's requested "Friends in Low Places" as sung by Tony D. I believe we've done this one before by William Regal. So now we got to get it from Tony D.
I like the cover of the cover.
Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots and ruined your black tie affair. The last one to know, the last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there. And I thought I saw the surprise and the fear in his eyes when I took his glass of champagne and I toasted you, honey. We may be true, but you'll never hear me complain. Because I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the Oasis. Oh, I got friends in low places. Thank you very much. I don't
feel like he needs to go out of the way to tell us he's not big on social graces when he's interrupting a wedding with a toast simply to say that he has friends in low places. Like, yeah, we get it.
We get it. We got one here is so we got one here. We want NCB says, "Hello, Team KLX. This week I would like to hear Sheamus singing 'Since You've Been Gone' by Kelly Clarkson." SGS for life. This is the first. I've not actually gotten a Sheamus request before. Let's think.
Or a Kelly Clarkson one, I don't think.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah, probably not that either, but definitely not a Sheamus. Let's see if I can muster out a Sheamus. "Here's the thing, mate. We started out friends. It was cool, but it was all pretend. Yeah. Since you've been gone. You're a dedicated fella. You took the time. Wasn't long till I called you my own. Yeah. Since you've been gone. And all you'd ever hear me say is how I picture me with you. Butch, get him. That's how you'd always ever hear me say. But since you've been gone, I can breathe for the first time. So I'm moving on. Yeah, thanks to you. Now I get what I want since you've been gone, fella.
Hey, Sean, this is the part of the show where we make money.
Yeah.
So calm down. I'm pulling the audio anyway.
Yeah.
Relax.
I know. It's fine. Now we're going one last thing. It's Regal. Regal singing Tom's Diner by Suzanne Vega. Hold on. What this? Alpha Bill says, just finished reading an article outlining why Bandit from Bluey is a bad dad. What kind of hellish demon is this person? I don't know. Bandit from Bluey is the best dad. Here we go. Tom's Diner as sung by William Regal. I'm sitting in the morning at the diner on the corner. I am waiting at the counter for the man to pour the coffee. For the man in the mask to pour the coffee. And he fills it only halfway. And before I even argue, he is looking at the window at somebody coming in. Do 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 do. It is always nice to see you, says the man behind the counter to the woman who has come in. He is shaking her umbrella, and I look the other way as they are kissing their hellos. I am pretending not to see them. Instead, I pour the milk. Do 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 do. I opened up the paper. There's a story of an actor who had died while he was drinking. It was no one I had heard of. And I'm turning to the horoscope and I'm looking for the funnies when I'm feeling someone watching me, and so I raise my head. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. There's a woman on the outside looking inside. Does she see me? No, she does not really see me. Of course, she sees her own reflection. And I'm trying not to notice that she's hitching up her skirt, and while she's straightening her stockings, her hair has gotten wet. And while she's straightening, hold on. This rain, it will continue through the morning as I'm listening to the bells of the cathedral. I am thinking of your voice and of the midnight picnic once upon a time before the rain began. I finish up my coffee. It's time to catch the train. And so on. Thank you, everyone.
Unintentionally, it was extremely Linda of you to just have one glass in the frame. Like you had one eye.
I couldn't see. I had to look. I'm sorry. I had to look.
It was
closer.
Very, very Linda of you.
Thanks, everybody. And I honestly, I did the entire song just because Sean was being a baby about it.
You know what he was being?
A scotch.
Sean was being a scud.
We still have 2 full minutes left.
We do. We were on track to be early, but you know what? Just to spite you. Yeah. Good night and gabagool, and with your spirit to you, JW Pringle. Hey, Thursday, a new episode of Get the Flick Out of Here premieres, and we're talking BattleBots, baby.
BattleBots, baby.
I'm so excited.
BattleBots.
BattleBots.
That's great. You're gonna tell me why I should watch BattleBots.
It's because, well, I mean, thesis, it's the greatest show in the history of the world.
There we go. So
I'm gonna explain why on that.
Tomorrow I will be talking about hopefully Ortiz shaving Jericho bald, but probably not. And we'll figure out what the hell else is going on. Oh, Wardlow's gonna powerbomb 20 dudes through the center of the earth. That's gonna be fun. So
well, that's Brandon Dex Harwood, and I'll be doing that at Mark Pod on the Mark Orta podcast.
And then do the Sour Graps SmackDown show. You're gonna do your own thing when
AEW Rampage and SmackDown post show on the main.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And then we'll be back here next week doing all kinds of stuff. So if you like it, Twitch kids, come back next week. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Subscribe to Fightful Gaming if you're on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, you can always subscribe to us here and leave a thumbs up on your way out.
Right.
how
Bye,
spiteful
everybody.
do we want to be to Sean? Should we just kill 30 more seconds?
No, I don't want to do that.
30, 29, 28, 27. I'm just kidding. We can go.
Keep cool, gabagools.